Good afternoon, everyone. Center of Excellence, IMS BHU, welcomes all the participants for today's RDLS session. Today's topic is integration of NCD screening and management among PLHIV at ART centers, and the speaker is Dr. Manasvi Chaube. Dr. Manasvi ma'am is an associate professor with the Department of General Medicine at the Institute of Medical Sciences, Banaras Hindu University, Varanasi. She is also the deputy program director with the Center of Excellence at IMS BHU. She has done MBBS from MLB Medical College, Jhansi, and MD from SN Medical College, Agra. Her area of specialization is in the internal medicine and rheumatology. She has done EULAR online course for 2 years in rheumatology. She is also a member of SASEP at COE. We welcome you, ma'am, for today's session and request you to start the session.
Thanks, Shweta, for such a nice introduction. So, to start with the today's session, we are going to have a brief outline for the today's session. So, it is going to include the background of HIV and non-communicable diseases, common non-communicable diseases, including hypertension, diabetes, CAD, and stroke, screening and assessment of NCDs, integration of NCD care with the NACP, and implementation of the integration of NCD care to PLHIV at ART centers, how to proceed further. Now, coming to the non-communicable diseases among PLHIV, as we all know that with the widespread access to the ART, the disease HIV is now being changed to from a life-threatening condition to a manageable chronic condition. So most of these patients are surviving, and that's why the demographic of ART center is changing, and we are seeing more of the patients who are more than 50 years of age, that is aged PLHIV. PLHIV facing different health challenges due to aging are more commonly likely to develop NCDs. As we all know that in a normal patient or normal person also, as we age more, there is more chances of getting a non-communicable disease, and this applies to PLHIV also. Non-communicable diseases are one of the leading causes of non-AIDS related morbidity and mortality in PLHIV, and that's make that the detection and the timely management of NCD in PLHIV is very critical. Now, coming to the common NCDs, so if we think of organ system involvement, it can be a hypertension, ischemic heart disease, stroke. In the respiratory system, you can have asthma, COPD. In endocrine, you can have diabetes. In the renal, you can have chronic renal disease. Depression, anxiety can be a part of central nervous system examination. Your patient can be an anemic patient or maybe suffering from sickle cell anemia or thalassemia, that is hemoglobinopathies. Malignancy is also a very common non-communicable diseases which you can see in PLHIV patients. And lastly, the arthritis. Now coming to the Indian scenario, there was a study in 2011 which was done in the non-HIV patients, which included more than 1 lakh normal population, in which twice of the rural presentation was there. So what we got in that study, that the overall prevalence of diabetes in India was 11.4%, pre-diabetes was 15.3%, hypertension was 35.5%, and what you can just see that the obesity was 28.6% and abdominal obesity 39.5%. Dyslipidemia contributed to 81.2%. And among all the non-communicable diseases, except for the pre-diabetes, all the non-communicable diseases were more common in the urban as compared to the rural areas. Now coming to the top 10 causes of the death, which you can just see from this slide that the causes of the deaths are now being changing from a communicable diseases to a non-communicable diseases. So most of the patients now are dying of heart attack, COPD, stroke, and CKD, and diabetes, rather than dying of pneumonia, diarrhea, or TB. Now, this study was in the aged that was for the age-associated non-communicable diseases, and this study was done in the Amsterdam, Netherlands, and it included 598 HIV infected patients and 550 HIV uninfected control. and the age which they choose was more than 45 years of age. So what you can just see that HIV infected person is at a risk of getting more than 3 communicable diseases, much more than the HIV uninfected patients. And this trend is increasing as the patients are aging more. Now, coming to the prevalence disease-wise, in this slide, in the same study, they showed that all the NCDs are more common in HIV and HIV infected patient as compared to a HIV uninfected patient. Now, coming to the epidemiology of cardiovascular disease is the most common cause of death worldwide. 1 out of 3 deaths worldwide are due to cardiovascular disease. And the worst is that over 3 out of 4 deaths that occur from the cardiovascular disease, they occur in the low and middle income countries. So why this is happening? This is happening because we have a double burden of communicable and the non-communicable diseases. We have limited access to effective and equitable healthcare services, and the detection of the disease and the treatment is delayed. And this is going to lead us to a overburden of the health system, high productivity losses, and finally strained economic development. Now, factor responsible for the cardiovascular epidemic in India includes the increased biological risk, including genetical and early life influences, and the population level changes. So, as we all know that the demography is changing, the age, the lifespan of the patients are increasing. We are moving toward more of urbanization. The quality of food is deteriorating. We are eating more of a junk food, and the economy. They all are leading to these are the factors which are responsible for the CVD epidemic in India. Now, coming to the risk factors to the cardiovascular disease, it includes hypertension, diabetes, dyslipidemia, that is more of a high total cholesterol, LDL and triglyceride, obesity more than 25 kg per meter square for Indian population, increased waist circumference. For men, it is 102 centimeter, and for women, it is 88 centimeter. As stated by the WHO, waist circumference more than 95 centimeter in men and more than 80 centimeter in women is associated with the increased risk of metabolic complications. Physical inactivity, tobacco use, excessive alcohol consumption, unhealthy diet, and family history of CVD increases the risk of getting CVD. Now, why we want to do this opportunistic screening? So if we are doing an opportunistic screening, we are going to detect the disease early. Now, with the early detection of the disease, we can manage this patient in the initial phase of the disease, and we can include the lifestyle stages and the pharmacological therapy. And overall, this is going to improve the health and the well-being of our patient. And together with this, we can prevent the comorbidities, like diabetes is most commonly associated with hypertension and CKD. So if you are diagnosing hypertension, you are going to prevent the comorbidities also. So coming to the national technical guidelines, the overall aim is the early identification of the NCDs among PLHIV so that we can reduce the morbidity and the mortality associated with NCD. And how we are going to do this? By integrated and comprehensive management of HIV and NCD in the routine program setting. Now, every screening starts with the assessment. So you have to assess your patient first at the time of ART initiation, then at 6 months, and that should be repeated after every 6 months. So you have to ask the history of heart disease, stroke, diabetes, and hypertension, any angina, breathlessness, or on exertion or lying flat. This all shows that the patient might be a case of heart disease. Numbness or weakness of the limbs, loss of weight, increased thirst, polyuria, this all tells you about the possibility of diabetes. Puffiness of the face, passing blood in the urine, or swelling of the feet, they all can tell you about renal disease. Any past or present treatment or history that you have to ask whether your patient is taking any anti-diabetics or antihypertensive, any history of tobacco consumption or the alcohol consumption. How is the lifestyle of your patient, whether he leads a sedentary lifestyle or an active. Then you have to ask for the family history, that whether there is any history of any premature heart disease or stroke in the first degree relatives. Now you have to assess. Now, few things which are very important for screening is BMI and waist circumference. You have to take a blood pressure. You have to look for the signs and symptoms of diabetes mellitus. You have to look for pitting edema. You can auscultate your patient for the heart murmurs and the crepitations, which will tell you about cardiovascular disease, and basal crepitation in lung is a early sign of heart failure. And tenderness is in the abdomen, that is congestive hepatomegaly, which you can get in the cases of heart failure. And again, the lipid profile. Now, how you are going to screen? So ART center shall screen the PLHIV for diabetes, hypertension, CVD, and common cancers, and identify the people PLHIV who are at a higher risk of developing NCD and which requires further investigation and action. And this has to be done in the similar way which we have discussed in the last slide, that you have to do a simple history and examination, and you have to calculate BMI, blood pressure, and blood sugar depending upon the risk factors which are present in your patient. The routine screening and the management of mental health disorders should also be done in the patient of PLHIV to optimize health outcome and to improve their adherence to the ART. Now coming to the first NCD, that is hypertension. Now, all the PLHIV patients who are more than 18 years of age, a BP should be measured at the time of registration in the HIV care or ART initiation. And then after, you have to do it after every 6 months. And separately, you can do if you think that the patient needs BP measurement. Few things before taking a blood pressure, you should know that patient should not be talking. There should be no consumption of alcohol, coffee, or tobacco at least 30 minutes prior to taking the blood pressure. Patient should be sitting quietly for at least 5 minutes. Cuff should be at a heart level. You have to use correct cuff size and positioning. Back should be supported. The legs should not be crossed, and the feet should be supported. Back and arm should be supported, and you have to record exact reading rather than the doing it round off. So, and the thing which I missed, that the patient should have emptied his or her bladder. So there are certain error in the measurement with these small things which I have mentioned. So it is mentioned that with an unsupported back of it, you can have a variation up to 6 millimeter of mercury. Same is for unsupported arm. And with simple talking, you can increase the blood pressure to 10 millimeter of mercury. So be careful so be careful of these things before taking a blood pressure. Now, how you're going to diagnose hypertension in the patients of HIV? So hypertension is diagnosed when blood pressure is persistently above 140 by 90 millimeter of mercury. This blood pressure should be taken, at least 2 measurements should be taken at least at two different visits, which should be 1 to 4 weeks apart. And this should be taken by at least a physician or a staff nurse by a validated device. Hypertension diagnosed during first measurement in the case of hypertensive urgency and emergency should be directly referred to the physician. So before referring, I think everyone should know what is hypertensive urgency and emergency. So urgency, if the blood pressure is more than 180 by 110 with no signs of end organ damage. So what are the end organ damage? The patient can present to you with an acute renal failure. The patient can present to you with an altered sensorium, that is hypertensive encephalopathy. Patient can be in the heart failure, or the patient can have a grade 4 papilloedema. So these are all the signs of end organ damage. And if the blood pressure is more than 180 by 110 with the end organ damage, it is emergencies. Now, as we already discussed, that most of these hypertensive patients are diabetic, and are hypertensive. So you have to look for diabetes in every patient of hypertension. At least get a fasting blood sugar done, urine analysis to look for proteinuria, and proteinuria is a early sign of diabetic nephropathy. So that will also help you in diagnosing or suspicion of diabetes. Then you have to look for dyslipidemia by doing a lipid profile, serum creatinine and ECG. Serum creats will tell you about the renal condition, and ECG you can just find the LVH, which is a sign of persistent hypertension. Now, what should be the management? So that will depend upon what is our target. So the target of blood pressure control for a patient less than 180, less than 80 years of age is less than 140 by 90 millimeter of mercury. And for the patients who are older than 80 years of age, you can have a bit liberal control. So you can have a 150 by 90 millimeter of mercury. All these patients needs a lifestyle modification, including the limited salt intake, which should be limited to 5 to 6 grams per day, low fat diet with a regular exercise, and a healthy BMI of 18.5 to 22.9 kg per meter square, and the smoking cessation. Now, what drugs you can choose? You can choose between ACE inhibitors, ARBs, calcium channel blocker, thiazide diuretics, and beta blocker, as we do in the normal healthy patient. So, how to classify? So, for PLHIV patient, grade 1 hypertension is systolic of 140 to 159 and diastolic of 90 to 99 millimeter of mercury. You have to start with a lifestyle modification that is throughout all the grades of hypertension. So you have to start with the lifestyle modification. If the patient's target blood pressure is not controlled within 3 months, you have to start the therapy. For the grade 2 hypertension, which is between 160 to 179 and 100 to 109 of diastolic, you start with a single drug therapy from the beginning, including the lifestyle modification. And for the grade 3 hypertension, that is more than 180 to 110, you have to straight away start with the 2-drug pharmacotherapy. Now, which patient has to be seen and which patient is supposed to be referred? So screening, diagnosis, and the treatment of uncomplicated hypertension can be provided by a trained medical officer. But if the patient is having grade 3 hypertension and failure to achieve treatment goal following initiation and dose increase of 2 antihypertensive to maximum level, shall be referred to a physician expert in the management of hypertension. So you can just refer your patient to the, if your center is in the medical college, you can refer the patient to the Department of Medicine. Immediate referral to the appropriate facility and the provider shall be done in the cases of hypertensive urgencies and emergency, which we have already discussed. Now coming to the second NCD, that is diabetes. Now all the patients of all PLHIV patients should be screened by doing a random blood glucose test at the time of initiation of ART, 1 to 2 months after ART initiation, and then after every 6 months, then at the time of change of regimen, substitution or switch, and as per the requirement. So we have seen that during the assessment, what we have to look for first of all, you have to look for the symptoms of diabetes. So what are the symptoms? The patient can have polyuria, polydipsia, weight loss despite polyphagia, tiredness, weakness, pruritus, recurrent urogenital infection, and the delayed healing of wounds. So if the patients are having these symptoms, you should look for a blood glucose level. If you are getting a fasting blood glucose level, that is best. So if the fasting blood glucose is more than equal to 126 milligram per deciliter, or if the patient is having symptoms of diabetes with a random blood glucose of more than 200, or the best is if you can just go do a oral glucose tolerance test, and that 2 hour post 75 gram glucose consumption. If the sugar comes above or equal to 200 milligram per deciliter, this shows that our patient is diabetic. You can go for an HbA1c also. The level is more than 6.5%, but HbA1c underestimate glycemic level by 10 to 15% in PLHIV, because most of our PLHIV patients are anemic, and in anemia, HbA1c is not a good investigation for diagnosing diabetes. So coming for the choice of investigation, random blood glucose, it is easier to perform, but you have to confirm it by doing a fasting blood glucose level. And if the random is above 140, you should always look for the diabetes by doing a fasting blood glucose level. I think everyone knows how to measure a blood glucose by using a glucometer. Diagnostic criteria we have already discussed. Now coming to the monitoring of diabetes, you have to do a fasting and a 2-hour postprandial blood sugar at least once in a month, and more frequently if the target is not achieved. For the HbA1c, you can start with 6 to 12 months you can do. But if the sugar is not controlled, you can do it every 3 monthly. Also, clinical examination is supposed to be done at every visit, but minimum every 3 months. Screening of long-term complication, that is retinopathy, nephropathy, neuropathy, and peripheral arterial diseases and coronary artery diseases should be done at least in 6 months. More often if required. You have to maintain a normal BMI and blood pressure and lipid profile. Routine examination of the foot should be done as these patients are more prone to have a non-painful foot trauma, and that can predispose for the diabetic foot. So you have to educate your patient regarding the foot care at every visit, and you have to discourage the tobacco use and excess use of alcohol, and you have to ask your patient for an active lifestyle. With this, you have to look for the lipid profile, creatinine and urine analysis for proteinuria, the way we did for the hypertension. What has to be remembered that the dose of metformin should not be increased above 1000 milligram if the patient is on DTG-based regimen. So where it has to be done? Screening, diagnosis, management through lifestyle modification can be done by a trained medical officer. Initiation of oral hypoglycemic drug can be done by the physician. Continuation of the treatment can be provided by the trained medical officer in PLHIV with controlled diabetes. But if the diabetes is uncontrolled despite maximum dose of metformin and sulfonylurea, if the patient is having diabetic foot or the patient is a case of complicated diabetes with a complication including retinopathy and the nephropathy, these patients are supposed to be managed by a physician. Now, we have already discussed the CVD risk factors, which includes hypertension, diabetes, dyslipidemia. This slide we have already discussed. Now, coming to the anthropometric measurement. So, we all measure the blood weight of our patient. And you can just measure the height by stadiometer, wall-mounted stadiometer or a tape that you have to measure in the meters. You divide your weight in kg by height in meter square. That will give you a BMI. So why you want a BMI? The BMI estimates the total body fat contained in the person's body. So we want to have a healthy BMI. So obesity as per ICMR guideline is defined as more than 25 kg per meter square. Underweight is 18.5, normal is 18.5 to 22.9, and overweight 23 to 24.9. So you can just see that it differs from the WHO classification for BMI. Central obesity, waist circumference of 90 centimeter or higher for men and 80 centimeter or higher for women. Now, this I have taken from our JMM slide. So this is that you should always prefer to start a ART, which should be a lipid safe ART. So tenofovir, your raltegravir, DTG, they are a more safe lipid safe ART as compared to the other protease based inhibitors ARTs. Now for the lipid lowering therapy, pitavastatin is the best one. If pitavastatin is not available at your place, you can start with the atorvastatin. The dose is 40 to 80 milligram and rosuvastatin 10 to 20 milligram. Simvastatin and lovastatin is contraindicated with PIs. Statins has shown to reduce the CVD event by 44%. You can add fenofibrate if the triglyceride is more than 400. Omega-3 fatty acids with fibrate, you can add when triglyceride is more than 500. Niacin is reserved after fibrates, and if the if your TG is not improving even after giving fibrates and omega-3 fatty acid, and you can use ezetimibe if you are not able to achieve your LDL reduction by using simple statin therapy. Now coming to the last NCD which we have to discuss today is the mental health among PLHIV. So PLHIV are prone to psychological ailments due to the HIV per se, and as well as opinion and experiences regarding HIV in their surroundings. They have a multiple psychological issues like depression, anxiety, and they have an internalized stigma. So these all are going to hamper their drug adherence and mental well-being. Depression is seen to be 2 to 3 times more prevalent in PLHIV as compared to a general population. So screening of mental depression should be done in all the PLHIV patients. So that should be done at the time of initiation of ART, and after every 6 months, you have to ask only 2 simple questions. During last 2 weeks, have you often been bothered by feeling down, depressed, or hopeless? And in the last 2 weeks, have you often been bothered by little interest or pleasure in doing things? So if any of these questions, the answer comes yes. So you have to do the PHQ-9, that is Patient Health Questionnaire 9 screening tool. So how it is? This is for the last 2 weeks, you have to ask different questions. There have been given different points depending upon whether it is there or whether it is there, it is not there, whether it is for several days, it is more than half of the days, and if it is every day. So accordingly, they have given the scores. And if the score is below 4, depression is unlikely. And if the score is between 10 to 27, that is moderate to severe depression, you have to refer the patient to a psychiatrist, and you can do the supportive counseling. As we no more use efavirenz, so there is no reason of substituting. So you have to do the counseling to your patient, and you have to refer the patient to a psychiatrist. So there is a role of ART center for the counseling part. So you can provide a psychosocial support, self-management skill, and you can reduce the stress. You have to tell your patient about the symptoms and signs of depression, how it has to be managed. You have to inform the course of counseling and the treatment. You can give them, tell them for the meditation and to take adequate sleep. You have to encourage more of the physical activities, and you have to identify and reduce the stress pointers. You have to find the positive support system for your patient. And if the patient needs a proper treatment for the depression or the anxiety part, you have to refer the patient to a psychiatrist. So depression can be managed by a combination of medical and the psychological intervention. Medical treatment lies in we have 2 main classes of antidepressant. You can go with the TCA, that is tricyclic antidepressant, the most common being amitriptyline. And you can go with the SSRIs, that is fluoxetine. And the thing to be remembered is that you have to start it with the minimum doses, and you can increase after every 2 to 4 weeks for the proper control of the symptoms. The antidepressant can be given up to 9 months, and it should not be stopped abruptly. The dose can be slowly tapered down with the improvement in the symptoms, and then finally you can stop. Now in the children also, there can be a mental health disorders. So they are defined as the delays or disruption in the developing age appropriate thinking, behaviors, social skills, and the regulation of emotion. The prevalence of mental health disorders in children and adolescents can be between 6 to 12%. So how you are going to identify if there is a persistent sadness, the child is having outburst or extreme irritability, they are hurting themselves, or they're talking about hurting oneself, difficulty concentrating, difficult sleep, loss of weight, avoiding or missing school. They all are the early signs of mental health disorders. So these patients, these children should be properly counseled and referred if required. Now, summing up, so how you are going to refer and which patients are going to be referred and where they are going to be referred. So PLHIV who comes positive for NCD for ART centers in the district hospital, you can refer the patient to NCD clinic. For the ART center in the medical college, that should be referred to appropriate specialty department. For the mental health disorders in the district hospital ART center, you can refer it to National Mental Health Program. And for the medical colleges, the patient is supposed to be referred to psychiatry. Now, how you're going to record? You have to document this NCD in the white card in the patient follow-up section, section 13, and investigation section. Detail regarding comorbid condition should be documented in section 9 of white card, and these details would also be captured in the IMS. Now, the treatment of NCD starts with the health promotion. So if we are promoting a healthy lifestyle, you are going to have a lesson disease. So health promotion is always done by a healthy behavior. So you have to make your patient physically active. You have to counsel them regarding the weight management, a proper balanced diet and restricted salt intake with the restricted sugar and fatty meal intake. You have to ask your patient for the tobacco cessation and avoidance of alcohol. And you have to tell them the importance of adhering to the treatment more for the both for the NCD and both for the NCD and your ART, and how they are going to make them live a healthy lifestyle. So what is the role of nurse? The role of nurse is to assist the medical officer during the examination of the patient, to assist in the follow-up care. They can take the blood pressure, they can record the height, weight, hip circumference, and the hip waist circumference of the patient. Results of the lab investigation can be recorded in the survey form by the nurse, and to explain the patient and the family about the risk factor of NCD and the health promotion. The role of counselor is basically the mental health. So screening of mental health, basic screening questionnaire, then they can do identify the risk triggers, and they can identify the positive support system. They can provide counseling on diet and the lifestyle management, and they can assist the patient in the follow-up care and the referral. What is the role of medical officer? They have to take a proper history examination. They have to they have to advise the correct investigation. They have to confirm the recordings like blood pressure and the sugar. If the blood pressure and sugar is very high, they can start the preliminary treatment and record they are supposed to record the findings in the white card. And whenever the patient requires referral, the medical officer has to refer that patient to a appropriate authority. So management of NCD at ART center, ART, MO or senior medical officer can start the treatment of NCD at ART center itself. For diabetes mellitus, you can start with the metformin, and you have to you can add glimepiride or any other sulfonylurea depending upon the availability. For hypertension, you can start with any of the antihypertensive, including amlodipine, ramipril, or telmisartan, depending upon availability. Or else you can refer the patient to the medicine department or the NCD clinic in your hospital or nearby. And follow up of this patient, if the patient has reached the referral center or not, and in the next visit, you have to just see the prescribed drugs, and you have to look for the drug-to-drug interaction with your ART. Now, what are the challenges in implementing the NCD or integration of NCD in the ART center? Some investigation might not be available at your center, and for that, PLHIV has to visit to a different center. So the patient will never like to go to a other center for the investigation. Patient may have to visit other facility for the management of NCD. If the patient is of MI, the patient is supposed to go for the cardiology department for the management of MI. So this might not be available at the district hospital. The pattern and the prescription of the drugs also varies from state to state, and the complication may need specialist management, as we already discussed. So to conclude, non-communicable diseases are common in PLHIV. They are leading cause of morbidity and mortality among PLHIV. With aging population of PLHIV, we are going to see NCD more frequently, and we have to learn how to manage the NCD at our ART center. Screening of NCD is very simple. You have to just measure the blood pressure, sugar, BMI, and lipid profile. And initial management of NCD is possible within the ART center. So we can start the initial treatment at the ART center per se. And integration of non-communicable disease and HIV care is critical to achieve holistic approach to PLHIV. So this concludes the today's session. So if anyone like to ask any question. Shweta, question.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
We'll just Shweta, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you so much, ma'am, for facilitating this session. Any questions from the participants? आप आप माइक अनम्यूट करके क्वेश्चंस पूछ सकते हैं। किसी को कोई सवाल करना है? आप चैट बॉक्स में भी अपना सवाल लिख सकते हैं। Ma'am, I don't think there are any questions.
Sweta, can we ask some questions to them?
Yeah, of course, ma'am, you can. You can have the list from the participant list. You can have the names from the participant list, ma'am.
Yeah, we actually wanted to know कि कितने centers में they can measure the height, BMI calculate जो करेंगे, और weighing machine कितने center में working proper है, blood pressure instrument है, ये 3 चीज from all the centers. So I saw
Right.
RMR.
Can I request the medical officers to answer first? Medical officers, please, if you can unmute and answer, ma'am. Preeti, ma'am, can we start with you? If you can please unmute.
No related to no question.
No,
Okay.
what ma'am is asking is the height measured or the BMI or the is the weighing scale correct in your center?
Yes,
And
ma'am.
blood
Yeah.
pressure instrument है कि नहीं प्रीति?
हाँ है
And
मैम आगे है.
so or where do you document the blood pressure? If I know want to know कि hypertensive कितने हैं तुम्हारे population में, would you be able to tell?
अभी वो मशीन आई है इसी फाइनेंशियल ईयर में, तो वो हो रहा है मैडम.
ठीक है, बट ऑल ऑफ यू हैव ये जो पैसा है आपका क्या हेड है वो, जो जिसके कंटिजेंसी से आप लोग ब्लड प्रेशर इंस्ट्रूमेंट तो हर एक सेंटर ले ही सकता है, और शुगर तो ऐसे भी देखा जाता है, मैंने HIV पेशेंट्स का ऐसे भी करना पड़ेगा. बट आई टेल यू व्हाई आई एम आस्किंग दिस क्वेश्चन. तो ये हम अभी पेशेंट एक है एडमिटेड इन माय वार्ड. Patient was taking ART, TND है viral load, but he was diagnosed by diabetes from at least 4-5 years. So ART center, I'm not naming the ART center, but in the ART center people said और कोई दवा मत लीजिएगा. And now पूरा pus in his abdomen, a lot of peripheral neuropathy, एक उंगली चला गया due to vascular ये. So this is what is the truth actually. So that is why I wanted to know कि really में NCD screening हो रहा है कि नहीं, because you all have an aging HIV population. 50+ तो बहुत सारे patients होंगे आपके. अनिमा, can you tell us कि आप लोग क्या कर रहे हो अगर पेशेंट को ब्लड प्रेशर बढ़ जा रहा है, हाइपरटेंसिव है, तो व्हाट डू यू डू?
मैम हम लोग मतलब हम लोग के पास हम लोग क्योंकि ए मॉनिटरिंग में भी मैम थी, IBBS में भी हम लोग है, तो हमारे यहाँ BP एंड हाइट मेजरमेंट सब कुछ हो रहा है. बट मैम हम लोग मेडिसिन डिपार्टमेंट रेफर कर देते हैं पेशेंट को, और जब वो वापस आता है तो उसको हम लोग डॉक्यूमेंट भी कर रहे हैं, और नेक्स्ट विजिट पे उसको हम मैम या तो अपने आप, तो मैं आपको बोलूँ एग्जैक्टली हम लोग मेजर नहीं कर रहे हैं, लेकिन उसकी मॉनिटरिंग वो घर से या मेडिसिन डिपार्टमेंट से हम लोग उसको रेगुलर मॉनिटरिंग में रखे हुए हैं कि आफ्टर ट्रीटमेंट भी उनका BP कितना चल रहा है, और सब है. मतलब अगर आप मेरे से मांगोगे डेटा तो मेरे पास पेशेंट्स का डेटा आपको मिल जाएगा. मैं मतलब 2 साल से तो एटलीस्ट, क्योंकि हम लोग यही देख रहे थे कि मेरे सेंटर पे भी जो मोर्टेलिटी मतलब रेट है, वो या तो जो LFU पेशेंट्स है उनकी वजह से मोर्टेलिटी है, या जो या फिर ये कोमॉर्बिड कंडीशंस की वजह से. तो 2-3 साल से तो मैम मैं इसमें स्क्रीनिंग पे हूँ और फॉलो कर रही हूँ पेशेंट्स को.
ओके, तो ये से भदोई सेंटर है, ART सेंटर भदोई भी ज्वाइन किया है, तो वहां पर कुछ है भदोई में?
Can other centers unmute, please, and answer the question?
ये सेंटर का नाम, और एक्चुअली तो बड़े सेंटर्स है, मेडिकल कॉलेज से लिंक्ड है. आई वांट टू नो अबाउट द स्मॉलर सेंटर्स जो कि मेडिकल कॉलेज उतना एक्टिवली लिंक्ड नहीं है, ऐसे भी तो सेंटर्स हैं. आई कांट अंडरस्टैंड हु इज डॉक्टर राकेश त्रिपाठी.
Dr. Rakesh sir, can you please unmute? I'm not sure if his mic has been connected. Yeah, sir, can yeah.
प्रतापगढ़, हाँ। तो सर आप बताइए, आपके इसमें बीपी इंस्ट्रूमेंट है भी?
हाँ हाँ है, हमारे यहाँ है। और एबव 55 के जो जितने भी पेशेंट हैं उनकी मॉनिटरिंग रेगुलर हो जाती है हर विजिट पे स्टाफ नर्स के द्वारा। और जो थोड़ा क्रिटिकल वैसे पेशेंट रहते हैं, अगर उनका ज़्यादा हाई वगैरह रहता है तो उनको मेडिसिन डिपार्टमेंट में रिफर कर दिया जाता है।
तो और एक चीज पूछना चाहे, बहुत लोग पेशेंट बोलते हैं कि दवा कहाँ से मिलेगी?
हाँ मैडम, वो मेडिसिन भी हम लोगों को मिल जाती है यहीं फार्मेसी से ही।
अच्छा,
हाइपरटेंसिव मेडिसिन जो है फार्मेसी से मिल जाती है, उन्हें परचेज नहीं करना होता।
अच्छा, जो टेलमिसार्टन एल्मोडिपिन का
जी, जी।
कॉम्बिनेशन आता है वो मिल जाता
हाँ
है?
वो मिल जाता है। और 30 डेज की
Glimepiride।
मिल जाती है। डायबिटिक की, हाइपरटेंशन की, ये सब 30 डेज की दवा अलाउ होता है यहाँ पर।
एंड आपका व्हाइट कार्ड में भी डॉक्यूमेंटेड होता है?
हाँ हाँ, वो भी हम जिनका बीपी की चल रही है, डायबिटिक है, उनको व्हाइट कार्ड में भी मेंशन कर देते हैं।
अच्छा, ठीक ठीक, ओके। मेरे को और कुछ पूछना नहीं है। अगर आप लोगों को कुछ पूछना है डॉक्टर मनस्वी से, शी इज सिटिंग हियर।
किसी के कोई सवाल हो तो प्लीज अनम्यूट करिए और सवाल पूछिए।
मैम एक चीज था कि जैसे हम लोग मेडिकल कॉलेज में है तो हमारे पेशेंट्स का तो हम लोग मेडिकल कॉलेज में मेडिसिन डिपार्टमेंट के हेल्प से सारा मॉनिटरिंग कर पा रहे हैं। और क्योंकि मेडिसिन हमारे यहाँ मेडिकल कॉलेज में सब आ रही हैं, एंड मतलब डायबिटीज की भी एंड हाइपरटेंशन की भी, जो सारे अच्छे सॉल्ट्स हैं। मैम एक सेशन ना थोड़ा सा एनसीडी क्लिनिक्स के बारे में भी कभी मतलब एक रखिएगा, कि मतलब जो डिस्ट्रिक्ट हॉस्पिटल में एनसीडी क्लिनिक्स हैं, जो पेशेंट्स हमारे डिस्ट्रिक्ट लेवल वाले हैं, उनका मैनेजमेंट एंड फॉलो अप, मतलब हम लोग को एनसीडी क्लिनिक्स के बारे में भी थोड़ा सा मतलब एक थोड़ा सा आइडिया दे दें।
ठीक है, वो इम्पोर्टेंट है। बिकॉज अनिमा, जैसे आई एम ऑल्सो, वी आर ऑल्सो इन अ मेडिकल कॉलेज, लेकिन हमारे पास कुछ भी फ्री नहीं आता बिकॉज वी आर अ सेंट्रल इंस्टीट्यूट। सो वी नीड टू लिंक एक्चुअली, हम लोग का भी लिंक करना पड़ेगा। सब जो यूपी गवर्नमेंट का मेडिकल कॉलेजेस है तो दे गेट अ लॉट ऑफ ड्रग्स, बट दैट इज नॉट ट्रू फॉर अस। मे बी अलीगढ़, ये सब में नहीं मिलता है। सो वी नीड टू डू दैट एंड वी नीड टू हैव अ बेटर लिंकेज ऑल्सो।
मैम बस वो थोड़ा सा ना एनसीटी क्लिनिक का मतलब उनका प्रोटोकॉल क्या है, वो कितने
उन्हीं का
दिन की दवाइयां
प्रोटोकॉल
दे रहे हैं,
गिवन
वो
हुई है।
थोड़ा सा हमें भी मतलब पता हो तो हम पेशेंट्स को डिस्ट्रिक्ट के साथ लिंक करा दें अपने,
नहीं,
मतलब वो
अनिमा,
हमें।
the whatever was presented here was there. This is the protocol they follow. They will give a combination of telmisartan as well as amlodipine, and they will give glimepiride and metformin. उसके बाद उनका control जब नहीं होता, they refer to a specialist. That is what they do. The protocol is the same. The protocol what Manasvi told you all was the same. It's the same. It has been taken from the NCD program only.
ओके मैम।
But
मैम
actually,
एनसीटी
we
क्लिनिक
should really think about is कि and maybe I'll suggest where if there is a हम लोग अगर बुलाया जाता है NACO में, there is a meeting for NCD, we need to put the patients on statins because it has been seen to improve life and decrease mortality. So that is another area which we have not touched much, but it has shown mortality benefit. So that is also very important.
मैम मेरा एक फीडबैक था, मतलब मुझे एग्जैक्टली पता नहीं है, इसीलिए मैं बोल रही थी कि मैंने एक एनसीडी क्लिनिक विजिट करी थी। मैंने 2 डिस्ट्रिक्ट की एनसीडी क्लिनिक विजिट करी थी, सिर्फ अपनी नॉलेज बढ़ाने के लिए कि मेरे जिले के पेशेंट्स को मैं वहां पे लिंक कर दूं कि उनका मैनेजमेंट वहां हो जाए। बट व्हाट आई फाउंड देयर कि उनका कोई फॉलो अप वहां पे, मतलब पोर्टल पे तो चढ़ रहा है, वो डायग्नोज वहां कर रहे हैं, बट उनका फॉलो अप मतलब बहुत अच्छा नहीं है।
डॉक्यूमेंटेशन तो एकदम अच्छा नहीं है। देन देयर इज अ प्रॉब्लम विद द ड्रग्स आल्सो, कभी रहता है कभी नहीं रहता है। ठीक है, सो दे हैव अ लॉट ऑफ प्रॉब्लम्स। मे बी व्हेन मैं कैन सजेस्ट, ऊपर की जो एनसीडी क्लिनिक का ड्रग्स है, वी कैन डिस्पेंस एंड गिव देम ये फॉर आवर पेशेंट। दैट इज द बेटर आइडिया फॉर अस, फॉर आवर पेशेंट। ऑफ कोर्स योर लोड विल इंक्रीज।
मैम हमारा लोड बढ़ जाएगा। और बाकी मैम डिस्ट्रिक्ट लेवल पे एक्चुअली बाकी जो डिस्ट्रिक्ट लेवल के आरटी सेंटर्स है ना, वो हैंडल नहीं कर पाएंगे। वो टीबी का काम तो सिस्टर देख रही है, बट मेडिकल ऑफिसर्स का वहाँ पे थोड़ा काफी इशू है। तो डिस्ट्रिक्ट लेवल पे तो आरटी सेंटर पे रखवाना मैम ठीक नहीं है, जहाँ पे एमओज नहीं है वो लोग नहीं हैंडल कर पाएंगे। थोड़ा सा एनसीडी वाला जो पार्ट है ना, उसको स्ट्रेंथन करना पड़ेगा।
वो तो प्रोग्राम को ही सेट बिल्ड करना पड़ेगा। ओके
Okay, Shweta, can we end?
Yes, yes, ma'am. Dr. Jaya, ma'am, thank you so much for joining in.
I was sitting here
Ma'am was here only, yeah, throughout the session.
Great. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, Manasvi, ma'am, for facilitating this session. Thank you to all the participants for patient listening and being active during the end of the session. Thank you, everyone, and we'll conclude the session now.
Thank you.